I want to go back to Vic because I got my friend Ben from the neighborhood that happened to just walk by, and now he's drinking a Schaefer with us.
We kidnapped him.
And he lives in Arizona, goes back and forth. So you started comedy in Arizona?
In Phoenix, 1985.
Wow.
With who?
With
Who was your
Spade.
crew?
David Spade was. I was recounting all the big Spade stories from the 2 weeks ago when I was there doing the club, and so. But Spade was the main guy. He was 22.
Right.
I was 23.
He was young face.
But he'd been doing it since he was 19.
Right.
So he's the veteran. He's 3 years in.
Right.
He's 3 years in. But Michael Bailey, Stan Howard, Dan Horn was a. Do you remember the show Wallace and Ladmo?
Yeah, of course. I was on it twice when I was
What?
a kid.
Yeah.
This is one of the, It's like a cartoon show.
It's nostalgic too.
No, it's one of my favorite. So it's one of those things where, like, for a while it had the title of longest running television show in American history because it was a locally produced.
It was like
kids show.
Captain
Started
Kangaroo's
as a radio
local,
show
but-
even before that.
But started locally, you know. So a lot of things have been on the air for 50 years in these little pockets.
Yes.
Dan Horn was the ventriloquist on this show, and he had all the puppets. And so when I started doing stand-up, the people would pack the open mic nights because it was a dirty act, and they knew him from the kids show, and they grew up with him. But then when he got Orson, was his old man puppet, his name was Old Grumpy Guy. And he'd go on stage, and everybody would love it because it was kind of nasty, and it was the total opposite. It was like Dirty Sesame Street, right? So my favorite Spade story ever, Dan Horn, for one time, 2 or 3 weeks, instead of going up on stage, he lays the suitcase down. The audience wants him to get the dummies out and let's go. But instead, he's doing 5 or 6 minutes of horrible stand-up. Just horrible. You know, I was on vacation with my wife. We went down to Disney World. What?
I hate when guitar dudes don't use the guitar or the fucking
right.
Get to your
shit. They know who you are. They know you from the TV show.
Your regular
you're
shit.
You're the one draw. You and Spade are the only 2 draws on the show, basically. And so we were trying to figure out. We're drinking at the end of the night with our 2 or 3 free beers, and we're like, why is he doing this? And Spade's like, look, I'll ask him. I'll figure it out. Wait till, so a couple weeks go by. We're at Anderson's Fifth Estate, was a club in Scottsdale. And so the show's over, and we're talking. And so Spade goes over to him and goes, Dan, we noticed, me and the boys here, what's the deal with the 5 or 6 minutes before you get Orson out? They want to see Orson. He goes, well, after all these years, I just got thinking about it, and I just kind of wanted to be funny by myself for a
Boo!
And
Boo!
Spade, razor sharp, no hesitation, goes, it's a doll, Dan. You are by yourself. It's a fucking doll, Dan. There's no one up there but you. Get the fucking puppet out and fucking monkey dance. Let's go.
Oh my God! Yeah, he felt like it was a different person on the stage.
He was totally sincere when he said, "I just wanted to be funny by myself for a change."
You always by yourself. What's the voices going on?
The razor just Spade with that Hollywood minute, David Spade. It's a doll, Dan. Everybody just runs for the exit. Everybody's just screaming and laughing.
How old were you when you moved to New York? Did you go Arizona to New York?
Only 1 year, yes. And so I was there for 1 year, 85, and then I came here in 86, early 86. Spade knew a dude that he went to high school with, and they were going to Columbia. And they got us fake IDs, and we illegally lived in their dorm on the Columbia campus.
Amazing. Nice.
They'd been in there for 4 years, and it was 4-bedroom, and the university never sent the 4th student. So they just had an empty room in there. They were wiffle balling and playing Nerf basketball. It was just a junk room. And so when I said I can get us some gigs in New York, because I worked with Rob Bartlett and he hooked us up, Spade goes, I got us. I go, but we'll spend every penny we make, to stay somewhere. And he goes, I got us a hookup, and we illegally stayed in the Columbia dorm for about 9 months till they graduated.
9 months?
Till they graduated, and then we lost our gig. We lost our free
And that was 80.
That was 86.
You said.
Yeah.
That's
so by the fall of 86, Spade had gotten into Police Academy movies and was going to L.A.
Right.
And I was in Transteer pretty good, making some money, and then I found a place to live.
So who was your crew in New York?
Oh God, you mean Colin and Sandler and Chris?
There's all the strip.
Yeah, and all those guys.
That's when Catch was still over.
So you knew Sandler and
Catch.
Chris before the rest of us did.
Pardon?
You knew Sandler and Chris Rock before the rest of us did.
Yeah,
meaning
we
before
were all
they
like,
had that mainstream.
Yeah, we were all
fame.
like 23 years.
Yeah.
I've got a picture.
But not before me, but
I showed the picture. I put a picture on the Twitter or a couple of times. There's an old picture from Catch a Rising Star of me and
I remember old pictures with Vic. Listen to me. I remember old pictures with you, Chrissy,
Chris, and Sandler.
Fucking Spade. I've seen some
we
old
got some
shit.
great ones from the Sellers. Me, you, Ray Romano.
Yeah.
Attell's like 25.
Back when Colin had beef with Attell because he said it was still in his act.
Is that a real story?
It's a real story.
Nothing remotely close to the same act.
I've been
would never
around
imagine
this
that.
comedy for a long time, way before I was in it. Because of I remember when Colin used to hate Attell.
I remember when
he said he was still in his voice.
Attell and
Still his
Sarah were
voice.
dating.
In the 90s, that's true. But everybody in comedy borrows from other niggas
Of
so
course.
you find your voice.
Right.
Attell was no different. And his shit was kind of close to Colin's in the 90s.
When did they get over it, or are they still beefing?
They're not beefing now because Attell went his own direction with
Yeah.
it.
Right, totally.
But everybody goes and I'm gonna do a little of this and do a little before you get your own voice, and that's just a part of comedy.
And where did you start?
Started in New York in '98.
You did.
Yeah,
98.
That's
20
when I met
years
him.
ago.
That's when I met him.
yeah.
'Cause
But
we-
I've known you
'cause
before
William
that.
Stevens- 'cause William
I knew you
Stevens-
before I
that's true,
started.
That's
though.
true, right.
98. 20 years already.
20 years already. Time flies.
Who'd you come up with? Probably
Tony. Me and Tony. We
Tony
started
Rock.
together, and then a whole bunch of Rachel was my roommate. Rachel Feinstein was
Right.
my
Yep.
roommate for 9
Wait,
years.
she started the same time as you?
Yeah, they all came. They were living
Yeah,
together.
we were living together. Me and Rachel moved in together in '99.
Little action or what?
No. She's like a sister to me.
She
But I
tells
banged
some
all her
funny
friends.
stories.
I fucked all her friends.
She's got some great stories. Well, that was me when I was living with the flight attendants. They're like,
Yes.
"Did you sleep with all the flight attendants?" I'm like, "No, all their friends and relatives."
All they friends. Rachel was the best wingman I ever had in my life.
She's
I
told
love-
me stories. She's told me more
Yeah,
I
stories.
love that story with
we wrote
you.
a treatment about it too. We got a TV show we worked on.
What year was it when you were living with the flight attendants?
80, all of 86. When the guys
Oh,
graduated.
after Columbia, you went
So
with.
Columbia, I moved in with the 5 flight attendants for about a year and a half.
That's a hell of a start to New
And
York.
so yeah, I had illegal
Free room and
illegal
board in
dorm
Columbia, and then
then
flight
5 flight
attendants.
attendants. Right?
That's
And
some 80s fucking
No
awesome
kidding.
shit.
It was wonderful.
And how
What
did that go
flight?
down? You didn't sleep with any of the flight attendants?
No, but all their friends and relatives.
What airline was it?
American.
Pan Am?
American.
Can we pretend like it was Pan Am?
But no, I was single. I'm 25. I don't know any better, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You don't shit where you eat. That's
Yeah,
always
that's why
a
you don't.
good
That's
rule.
why a rookie thinks to fuck the
That's a
girl.
tough, that's a tough
to
rule.
stick with.
That's
Yes,
a tough
I
rule
agree
to
with
follow,
you. I agree
man.
with you.
The
No.
worst thing you can do is have sex with the women you live with. If you live with them, just keep it at that.
But you were
You'll
smart
get
at-
more laid not banging them.
I was gonna say he was smart enough to know that they would be bringing more around,
Right.
I would
just
throw-
because of the situation.
I'd go and catch Rising Star and like everybody. I did okay, and once I got past, I was okay. I wasn't that funny, I don't think, but I was working. So the rest of them were nice enough to you because we're all working.
And
the
if they
same
see you
place.
perform, they come in. It's like you're equal with them.
You
even
know,
if you're not
but I'm bringing in these women. I'm bringing in these women right and left, and the ones who would be having layovers. So like
Yeah.
Seinfeld and Dennis Miller, who was doing Weekend Update at the time, they were
Right.
the last 2 holdouts. They were like, "This hillbilly shit ain't funny. He's an idiot. He's a kid. This is awful. It's stupid." But the whore dogs in both of them, because they were both single whore dog running
And they
men.
both
Wait, Seinfeld is
Oh,
was a-
absolutely.
Oh.
He was
You
single.
a nigga?
He was single till he married Shoshana.
He
to the
ran
18-year-old.
through shit.
Oh,
He
right
ran
and
through
left.
shit.
Right and left.
I know everybody's stuff.
Yeah. Mario Joyner was
Mario.
Yes,
Because
we're-
Mario was touching everything.
Right.
If it was blonde and hot,
Yes.
them niggas was touching.
We have the same Mario. Mario and I have the same birthday. We're the same age, same day.
Mario's just like a brother to me, man.
And we were running. We
Him
were
and Jerry.
running it. We were
Really?
running it crazy good.
I'm telling you, that's why me and Tone got into comedy, because we saw the girls that these motherfuckers was coming around with.
Right.
Chrissy would come home with the hottest, and we'd be like, this nigga's so skinny.
You know what?
Buck teeth, Jerry curl, and
Jerry
bringing
curl,
home
right,
Lisa
right.
Bonet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in this.
Wait,
In the picture he's wearing, in the picture I got with me and him and Sandler, he's Jerry curled.
Yes.
And he's wearing a double-breasted sweater.
niggas. And he would bring home
Cardigan.
the hottest bitches at night.
I'm gonna go back to Vic, but I gotta know, like, so what's the connection with Chris Rock? You guys all live together?
Well, I was over their house,
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
But where
But
you
we lived on
lived
the
was
same block.
close.
We lived on the same block.
Oh, same block.
But me and Tone and
Man,
Brian,
what, you're bored?
he had to go to
Nice
the
guy.
beer.
Let's get another beer. All right. Yeah, give me one of the cheap ones.
I want one
I
of
want to
these
go
again.
cheap. Yeah, you want another bourbon?
Larceny.
But yeah, we lived on the same block, and me and Tone, Chrissy, Brian, we always in the same, like, Chrissy used to come into, because our, like, their bedroom's on the top floor of the brownstone. So we used to be in the front room. Chrissy had the back room.
Yeah. No, just move into the mic. Cause
Okay. And Chrissy was in the back room.
Yeah.
And that nigga would come in our room at like 3, 4 in the morning, crying. Like, y'all gotta come listen to this. It's like Bobcat Goldthwait. And it's just the funniest shit. Oh, what's his name who died? The preacher. Shit, who flew through the windshield.
Guido
Oh,
Sarducci?
God damn it, I'm just blacking
That
out on his
bombed.
name.
I don't know.
He used to be a preacher before he was a comic.
Oh, Kinnison.
Kinnison.
Sorry.
I just was blacking out. I was blacking
Through the
out.
windshield in Vegas.
He would come in
Yeah.
4 in the morning.
I was thinking airline disaster.
Crying.
Right.
Wake us up to listen to Kinnison, nigga.
Oh, so
He would
good.
wake us up
So good.
and say, because I slept at their house just as much as I slept at my house.
Kinnison's early stuff was
But he would be crying. And that was the
ridiculous.
funniest shit we ever heard in our life.
Yeah, yeah.
Kinnison was the funniest dude. Chrissy, I'm telling you, that motherfucker
man.
studied Kinnison.
Chrissy did?
No question.
No kidding.
Makes
We
sense.
all did. We all
no,
did.
it makes sense.
He passed it down to us.
Yeah.
Right.
But he a few years ago, we were standing out in front of the strip one night, and he was getting ready for his latest special, and that's all he was doing. He was rewatching old Kinnison.
Yep.
Foxworthy,
Yep.
Pryor. He was rewatching
We do that in
a
his
whole
basement.
bunch
Every
of-
time he's got a special coming, we do that shit. We go
He-
through
yeah.
all of it.
Just to get the vibe, just to get that.
You get the good vibe, the originality,
Right,
the
right.
rhythm, the whole thing.
Motherfucker
you know.
is a blue collar.
Sherrod,
like,
I've known you a long time. These are
construction.
cool stories, man.
Yeah, but-
to know Chris Rock was really into Kinnison.
deeply
shit.
into him.
He
got
was
us
into comedy.
it.
He was into comedy.
He's a big comedy fan. That's he
Right,
got us
right.
into it. He's a
Comedy
study. He's
junkie.
a student of this
Yeah.
shit.
Absolutely.
Kinnison changed my life because I was like in Rochester trying to be a radio guy with the radio voice and just
Yeah.
intro records. And 2 influences. Brother Weeze, I was lucky to work under him and do whatever he needed because I knew he was special. And then he had a friendship with Sam Kinison. And
That's
Sam
crazy.
Kinison came into Rochester and hung out for the whole week doing radio.
Yeah.
That day I went, oh my God, I'm doing all of this wrong. What am I doing? I'm not saying that
I agree. That's
No, he made me
He
go,
had it.
what? Throw everything you know away and just try to be yourself and just try to be edgy and you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so a light went off in my head like bing, and that
He
was the
had it.
start. That was the start for me.
I think Kinnison's key though was his preacher roots.
Certainly.
With the
why he
cadence.
was
From the
so-
performance,
yeah,
absolutely.
The performance. That's what
Yeah.
we all took
Sure.
from that
Right,
shit.
right.
Comics don't want to talk about. Like he changed the whole comedy.
Do you know about? Do you know
he
about
changed all that.
Do you know
Well,
about
can
the
I-
crucifixion story where they the comedy workshop in Houston where he started?
Yeah.
And across the street was a 7-Eleven, and he was in a beef with him about some money or something. And he'd gotten somebody mad, and so they banned him, and he went to Home Depot and bought 2 big railroad tie giant, almost like telephone pole logs, and made a cross. And then his friends tied him to it, and they leaned him up. They leaned him up against the 7-Eleven sign across the street from the comedy workshop. So people are lined up and going in the club, and he's up there going, "They did this to me!" He's up there.
He's another
screaming
boy.
and yelling.
That is
So when
awesome.
he's got there just in a sheet. They just wrapped his fat ass in a sheet. He's sitting up there
No.
tied to the fucking
He was
telephone
nuts.
pole.
That's hilarious.
Don't go in there. They don't know what's funny.
Now, Bill Hicks was part of that crew in
Yes,
Houston as
he
well.
came after. He
So,
came
what
after.
was the connection between the? Oh, they were never in Houston together.
I mean, only maybe Kinnison, maybe just a year or two ahead, just a
Right.
year or two. But they're all out of the comedy workshop. It was a little hole in the wall,
Right.
And they were the Outlaw Comics, and there's 17 of them, and they were
Jimmy
all,
Schubert was part of that too back then.
yeah,
I wonder how
Probably.
much footage they have of that shit.
You know,
Can you
there's some of
imagine?
it around.
I
Riley
gotta find
Barber, Epstein.
Yeah.
Jimmy Pineapple.
Yeah.
Jimmy Pineapple did a Rat Pack act when nobody was fucking doing that. You know,
Right.
he's in the white tux. Comedy came out with a cigarette. And fucking walking around.
Oh my God, that's too
But
good.
none of it was regular stand-up.
Sure.
It was
Right.
all completely crazy.
Just
Ron
completely-
Schock told stories 30 years ago. He passed away a couple of years back. But when nobody was telling stories, his whole act was just stories.
Right.
Right.
You
So
know.
I didn't
People don't know what
forget-
the origins of these things are. It's
Yeah.
like
the Outlaw
so-
Comics of Houston is a
it's so
fucking
cool to
legendary
hear.
thing.
So I didn't forget Seinfeld and Dennis Miller were both
Sure,
dogs.
right.
All right, get back to that.
Oh,
I want to hear a little of that.
Don't get it.
I wanna hear a little of that.
I finally won them over with the girls, even though my act was so horrible.
They
and
didn't like you,
and
but
still
they
is.
liked that
They
you
liked
were
the
I'm
girls.
going right. I got 19 women a night.
Plus you were charming and
All
not a robot around women.
All different shapes and sizes.
So they were jealous of,
Coming in.
of what you were pulling.
So then they finally, begrudgingly, Miller walks over because he had his eye on one of them. He walks over one night. And he ain't said a word to me for 2-3 months. And so him and Jerry were the last 2 holdouts. And he kind of finally walks over and was like so, yeah, he's for this. I was on, I think.
That's his line.
I believe it was von Leeuwenhoek who observed in the 17th century. So he's.
I'm gonna walk home doing that
When I was-
myself.
Well, years later, when years later, when I was on VH1 as a VJ, I ran into him in the park one day, and it was just me walking in the parking lot, and I look up, and here comes Miller, and he walks up, and he goes, Henley, good to see you. I see you've become the new Martha Quinn. so he finally comes over to me before that with the girl, and he's like, what's the deal? You know, and I'm like, they're flight attendants, they're my roommates. And he's like, they're your roommates.
Yeah.
He goes, what's the deal with that one over there? And I'm like, you know, I don't know, but I'm guessing right now before I even ask her, I bet she's a huge Weekend Update fan. And he goes, go find out.
And that was it.
That was it. I go strolling over, and I'm like, blah.
It worked out.
She looks over at him, she goes, oh, God, he's cute. I've always liked him. He's really funny. Next thing you know, I'm in, and then he just goes and tells Seinfeld. He's like, whether he's funny or not, there's something going on here.
That's kind of similar to me in Rochester with Brother Weeze. Like Brother Weeze, I was nobody. I wasn't doing anything special. I'd met Sam Kinison, which to me was like, holy crap, throw everything away, do something different, be
Start from
yourself,
scratch.
and don't worry about what people are going to say about you.
Yep.
But I still sucked. I mean, I don't want to oversell.
You still gotta get there.
Yeah,
you still
of
gotta
course.
get there and
but
find
you
the
get
rhythm
your
of it.
influences,
Yeah,
and you have these moments in your career as you're coming up, and it hopefully turns into something. But with Weeze, I was a young kid from a fraternity, had a sorority that was close to us, so we were always throwing these banging fucking parties in
Right.
Rochester. Weeze was in a miserable
That's
marriage.
when you live with
Buzzy and
Buzz.
He's-
Buzzy!
Yeah, I miss Buzzy, man.
and Stork and the rest of them. He ran into my college friends, and that's going to be a podcast.
Well, I'm telling you, they got to
I'm
come
telling
on.
the stories with you. You love that. So with Weeze, I was just I was a nobody at this radio station. He's already a massive star,
Right.
but he knew I was pulling women and having these parties.
Right.
So I started inviting him over, knowing if he has a good time at my house at these parties, he's going to help me out a little more in radio. So
Right.
it worked out perfectly. It got
That's
him away
how you
from his
do it.
miserable marriage at the time. So that's sort of how he started.
You got some
and
young
bonded.
blowjobs.
Why not? Fine.
He got some college
I was
mouth.
doing one. I didn't care at all.
And
I was
then,
just happy to.
and then it helped me because in the Rochester world, he's a rock star, and all of a sudden he's walking into my fucking house.
Right.
with
They
these
like, how the
parties.
fuck you know him?
Now I got women going, you know him? Oh,
Right.
You know how all that works.
Yes.
So, yeah.
It pals on, baby.
Right on.
Shit.
The suits are here, by the way. That's Tim Sabean from Westwood One, and Robert.
Are they?
They haven't laughed once. Tim, want to say hi
You
real
don't want to
fast?
interrupt the show, I guess.
Yeah, what's up?
Have you enjoyed the velvet rope? The velvet rope.
Tim look like money. Sit down, Tim. You look like you got some dollars.
It
nigga.
smells like money,
You
too.
look like
right?
you got a couple dollars, Tim.
Listen, if I had your money, I'd burn mine. No kidding.
Hey ho!
I don't believe in that.
Been here all week.
Yeah, exactly. But so, how great is this podcasting? The fact is, you don't have to sit in a stale old studio every
Yeah.
single day. You get out and about. You look like you're having fun for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
His office was in a hallway. You knew that?
What's that?
His office was
By
in a
the end, he
hallway.
had
Oh yeah.
corner.
Oh yeah.
Near the end, that's
well, he
Sirius
was,
XM.
well, he was a big star at Sirius XM.
Oh, was
yeah,
I?
yeah, exactly.
Literally.
That's how they treated their people.
We would have meetings in the hallway, and then I would get really mad if someone walked down the hallway. I'm
Trying
like,
to go
you're
to the
walking
bathroom."
through my office.
Yeah, farm animals were treated better.
Yeah, but this is much better, making me haul around podcast equipment and set it up at a beer joint. Yeah, life is great, Tim.
Things are fine.
Where are you from, Tim? You from New York?
I'm originally from Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
Yeah.
What are you, Prince?
Exactly. Prince. I grew up with Prince. Yeah, exactly.
Edina?
I went to his funeral.
Edina?
Did
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
You
yeah.
went
Are
to
you from
Prince's
Edina?
funeral?
Yeah.
Are you from Edina?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You
East
look
side
like
of St. Paul,
You look
that
like
kind
a
of
cake eater.
Yeah,
You look like a cake eater. You got an Edina joke. Is that not a joke?
Yeah.
Bang.
What is
Bravo.
that? There we go.
Minneapolis
There we
joke.
go.
I
There
don't
we
get
go.
it, though.
I've been everywhere twice.
I know you're not supposed to explain a joke, but
No, you're
I
not.
don't get
It's
it.
just- It's a local. I'm
like
going
it.
local.
Someone
Yeah.
out there is laughing.
I'm going local.
Me and Tim met when he was programming YSP in Philly.
Okay, nice.
That's
He was
still
the
a
one-
good channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was. Now it's not.
I was gonna say, is it
sports
gone?
now. It's sports
It's
now.
gone?
Yeah.
Terrestrial radio is gone.
Yeah. They totally ruined it. All these so-called executives have no idea
See?
what to do. What to,
Yeah, I've been saying that for
dude.
years through emails.
But this is what's great about this, though. You
you
can
go.
do this on your own. You don't need the big tall antenna and tower and all
Right.
the bullshit and the infrastructure, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just it's
Tim,
a
what
whole
about the money though?
the money's good. Believe me, the money will be fine. The money will be fine.
It's terrific right
Dead
now.
presidents on green paper. It'll be there.
There you go.
It'll be there.
My favorite kind of president.
Exactly.
Live ones ain't got no credit.
I ain't got
No,
nothing
no,
for me.
yeah.
Trump dollars ain't gonna get you.
That includes the black
That's the
one.
same thing as a degree from Trump University and a case of Trump wine. Trump dollars, nothing. Bitcoin is more stable.
You're sweating pretty good, Tim.
It's the future. That's how kids are operating now.
Listen, that's why I have no future.
I'll tell you something about Tim. He sells the marijuana.
What?
What do you mean?
Are you
I
allowed
need
to talk about
marijuana.
that?
Huh?
You know I need some. First of all, Opie is like a narc.
No, yeah.
And if you hold it, you better let me in on it.
Because we both like pot.
Well, I guess I got to explain. No,
no,
you don't want to talk about it?
Well,
No.
you did, but
You gotta
Opie's like a high school guidance counselor.
yeah,
He's got a little.
I have a cannabis investment. Yeah,
Is it safe to say it's,
yeah.
it's your
I know, I
slave?
know a lot of people too.
investment. Yeah,
Even
yeah,
the governor
yeah.
of New Mexico, who I met on Fox News, he's involved now.
Gary?
He's
Let
all the
me
way
tell
in.
you, it's the gold rush of 2018. It
I
really
want
is.
in, Tim.
It's all about
Too
it's.
late.
I want white in.
Why? Yeah.
Black people been selling weed and getting arrested. White people come in and making a fortune.
Exactly.
Now, will this high-end weed train will revert back to like the beers?
Well,
like how the beers are going back to PBR. And
Well, long as
Schlitz,
Jeff
Milwaukee.
Sessions is cool.
Are
That's
we
it's
going
all
back-
about Jeff
Are
Sessions.
we going back to just? I want more seeds and stems.
No,
Well, you take
no.
you take the seeds and the
We're
stems and you
flipping
make oil
back.
out of it.
Flip it all
We're
back.
Flipping all back.
I got to explain. Where's your joint? It's
Well,
all up on the up
No
and
pun
up.
intended.
They have a little dispensary in Pennsylvania
No, I did
and a grow up
Kentucky.
in.
He's got a.
I believe
I got to grow up.
Listen,
in
I did a whole
warehouse.
episode of my
Michigan.
A&E show on the cannabis convention here at Jacob Javits Center.
Yeah.
And I met an ex-senator from Brooklyn, congressman from Brooklyn, who's deeply involved in it now.
Yeah.
All these politicians are involved
Oh,
in marijuana
absolutely.
now.
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
All of them.
Yeah.
They got these big
And it's cash.
$180,000 machines that turn it into candy.
Yeah, and
that pumps it into the candy.
Exactly right. Well,
I
here's,
videoed
here's,
all of it.
here's the crazy thing: we have to physically go to Michigan and pick up the cash and bring it to a credit union. We can't put it in the bank.
All right.
So you're walking away with a duffel bag filled with cash.
Now, what days y'all do that on so I can tell my crew from
Well, listen.
Brooklyn?
Exactly.
That was
ride along?
smart,
Tim.
You want to ride along?
That was
Yeah, with a
smart.
ride along.
I've
All
done
right.
this crime. I've
Yeah, it's
done this
all
crime.
cash. It's so
I
much
have done this
cash.
And you
crime
can't get on a
and got no
plane.
weight
You have
with
to
it.
you have to drive. You have to fly in, go to Avis, get a rental car, drive back to.
What route y'all take?
I
What Waffle House you stop at?
Well,
I'm choking somebody.
when it started in Colorado, that was the big deal, where they had to get major security to get these guys cash to
There's
the
big
credit
money in it
unions.
now, just
Yeah.
transferring this fucking cash.
I wired money from PNC Bank. Thank you very much. And I get a call from the president of the bank. Is this cannabis? I'm like, excuse me?
Did he really
Yeah,
scream?
oh yeah. He
was
The
mad?
president
No.
of the bank?
Crazy, off the chart, off the hook, crazy. Because it's all the regulations and everything with cannabis. They can't touch anything that has to do with.
Wow.
Only
weed.
some states.
Wow.
No. All states.
Because it's
with
coming
the
out of
federal-
because it's going
federal-
over-
I believe he
yeah.
would know.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's dirty.
But listen, maybe
Some
in
people
your
sneak
bank,
it
I
out.
don't know where you bank.
Sneak
but
it
yeah,
out.
yeah. Are
They
you doing a
sneaking it
mattress?
out.
Are you doing a mattress?
You know they sneaking it out.
I want to know. Are you doing a
What's
mattress?
happening?
I want to know.
So why are we podcasting? Screw this.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go freaking smoke it
Well, I'd
and
say,
sell
yeah.
pot.
Yeah,
That's
don't
what I
smoke
said.
it,
I
though.
can-
That I have no.
I got to tell Sherrod I went to Jamaica with the pot
it's
down
too
there.
strong. It's too.
No, I don't know.
No.
Break it up. I make spliffs, though. I roll
Yeah,
spliffs.
No,
Steps.
I'll eat it to sleep because I can't. I have a hard time.
Good.
I'll tell you.
We
Sleep
talk about
like a
weed or
baby.
pussy?
That's it. Exactly.
I eat pussy.
Hey,
That's how I take a nap.
And her too.
Yeah.
Where were you on that one, you son of a bitch?
what about Khalid doesn't eat his wife's pussy?
Oh, the DJ Khalid?
Yeah,
He's a fool.
he got hammered on Twitter.
Because it sounds stupid.
It sounds really stupid.
It's like you sound like an idiot. You
Right.
sound like
What do you
me as a
do? What do you do
12-year-old.
on
He
this
said
now?
DJ Khalid.
It's an old interview.
He
that
said
just
he don't
popped
eat his
up.
wife's pussy because he's a king.
Because he's a king.
What does that mean?
Exactly.
Who knows?
That's what Twitter said. What
It's
are you
like whatever you're not
talking
doing to
about?
your wife,
You
somebody
said.
else is going to do to your wife,
Right.
stupid.
Oh,
You
they-
should eat it more, and that makes you the king.
Yes.
You need another one. Let's do a drinking game.
Here. Have some of that.
have it.
I'm drinking
Yeah.
bourbon. We're at Gebhards. on the Upper West Side. This is a great joint. I'm going to do a lot of podcasts from this place.
love
on
this. It's
72nd between West End and Broadway.
Broadway.
But need some video in here, Ope.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim?
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Stop worrying about the weed, Tim, and get some videos in here.
Listen, I'm all fucked
starting
up on
slow.
weed. I can't think of
Get off the
anything.
gummies,
What the hell? I'm
Tim.
too busy.
We're working on a whole video deal, hopefully.
Yeah,
But
yeah, bring it down a little bit.
I don't believe in words.
I don't need you to build me a studio anymore. I want to do it here.
Yeah, well,
This is this is officially our
People
joint.
should be able to call
Right.
in.
but this is all. Yeah, we
We just need a
we'll
phone
have
system.
Just start bringing some product around with you.
Exactly. Well, I will. How long have you been doing comedy?
33 years.
So you just started. You're new to this. Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Tim is
How many marriages
babbling.
have you
I'm
been
going to
through?
take it from here. We are podcasting from Gebhards on the Upper West Side, 72nd Street between West End and Broadway.
Yeah, sons of bitches.
I'm late.
Vic doesn't like the yeah.
I'm
No,
late.
Vic has been married twice and no kids.
Right.
I asked him. I said, "Did you have a vasectomy?"
No,
I
he
married
just.
2 women that didn't want to have kids. It's really easy.
That is odd.
That
If
is
you
odd.
marry
How-
the right-
That's
if you marry-
great.
If
What are you
that's
talking about?
discussed,
Rhythm method? What'd you practice?
No,
brother,
bust all
brother,
in.
What?
Marry the woman that doesn't want to
Don't
have
have
kids,
kids.
and then you don't have kids.
Exactly.
Really? Oh, bullshit.
No.
Really?
You never
Oh, they
wanted to
switch
have
up?
kids, Vic
No,
Henley?
never.
Why wouldn't you?
Wait, Tim had a story right here.
Oh,
Somebody,
no.
Sorry, go
I
ahead,
had
Tim.
that experience, not a story.
Tim had some woman say, "I want what you want." They always say they want what you want until they get in. They're like this. I want different stuff.
Yeah. Fuck.
Why didn't you ever want to have kids, Vic Henley?
Because the Henley line needs to stop with me. It needs to be
No.
over. No more Henley.
Why do you say that?
Because it's just you don't know my family.
Why didn't want a 5-year-old with gray hair?
I don't want anything related. Right. I don't need a baby Jay Leno. Thank you. It's been an hour. You finally came up with something.
Yeah, you should leave on that, Tim.
Sherrod's right
Do
in
the
front
George
of me.
Costanza. Just walk out.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Tip the waitress.
End on a high note.
Right. Don't let the sea air rust your hips.
But you're good with Nikki's kids,
Oh, I love Nikki's kids. They're
so
amazing.
you do like kids.
I love children. I just didn't want any of my own.
Yes.
The Henley family needed to end with me. And
That's such a the youngest sibling thing to say.
right, yeah.
You're the youngest, just like me. And I go like this. Why should it be more after
There
me?
shouldn't be anybody.
But I already spilled into somebody's vagina.
My niece is, yeah, well, you got a good one.
I got a good
You
one.
got lucky.
I got
You got
blessed.
lucky.
Lucky's for the
You
wicked.
did get lucky.
I got blessed.
The wicked. Lucky's for the wicked.
I'm telling you,
That's right.
Lucky's
You
for the
going to
wicked.
old Church of Christ Baptist, Pentecostal.
It's for the wicked.
We got to pull a story out of Vic.
About
What?
what?
How he wants the family name to end with him.
Why do you want to?
Yeah,
because
give
it's
me a little
I've
something.
seen
on
his
that.
The
brothers. Too. I
Henleys
met his
ain't good.
brothers. Tell him about all his friendships with all the Atlanta Braves that I met.
Oh God! Well, that's Terry.
Terry.
Tim Hudson.
They came to at least a dozen of my shows.
Really?
Tim
The
Hudson
Henley
from Atlanta,
brothers.
from the Atlanta
Oh,
Braves.
the Atlanta Braves.
All
Okay.
the Braves, and they
Yeah.
all know Terry from hunting with him.
Hunting with him. Tell him about the moose head in the toilet.
So he calls.
What?
Yes. So he
You have no
calls me.
idea.
So he calls me.
He's
he
my
goes-
white kind of white people.
He goes. I got Tim Hudson, Craig Kimbrell, who's now closing
Yes.
for the Red Sox.
Yep.
A whole bunch of them down at the cellar
We
watching
drank.
him. And he goes. They asked him something about. He said something about me, and Tim Hudson went to Auburn, so something about Terry came up. So he sends me a text, and he goes. I go. Ask him about the deer head in the toilet.
And they lost. It was like, how the fuck do you know that? Henley's, nigga.
So they were all deer hunting somewhere down in Boogerville, Alabama, a million years ago. And they're in some cabin. It's a cabin. It's really not nice. It's a cabin.
Right.
And so most of the people are peeing in the yard and walking around and whatever. It's just sleeping bag kind of cot situation. So my brother killed this huge deer that had this giant rack. So when they all went to bed, he cut the deer's head off and put it in the toilet. So when he knew someone in the middle of the night would go walking in there and flip the toilet lid up, and there'd just be a fucking deer head in there. And it was Tim Hudson.
Really? Yes.
And Terry was
All-star.
hiding outside the window with his phone. He sat outside for 3 hours waiting on the first idiot that was going to walk in there and get scared by the dead deer head in the toilet.
Wow.
And it was just, but it was only a little inside Alabama hunting story from amongst 9 people until he goes, hey, what do you know about this? I go, ask him about this.
And they was like, how the fuck did you know this?
And they just lost it.
Yes.
That's
it's
a
like, how
great
you know
story.
Terry? How does this work?
I'm like, he is everywhere. True.
You had a rough upbringing. That's why.
Well, you're back to the Henleys.
I'm so curious because you've told me some of these stories over the years.
My cousin Doug.
I know what I gotta do.
Don Henley is my dad's younger brother.
Right.
And
the Don Henley.
No,
I know. Just.
And but he's got a son, and so Doug Henley. I have stopped it. Doug Henley, my cousin, would be the only one and so he may have already procreated. I don't know.
You don't know?
So
I don't know. I haven't talked to Don Henley and none of them. They don't talk to me anymore.
Really? What'd you do?
Why?
I told him to not fucking talk to me anymore.
You see how
something happened. Something happened in his White Southern family.
You see how he shaped his mouth to say that? That was some redneck scary shit right there.
Those are white people problems.
Something happened.
It's just that
somebody grandmama died and they took the house.
Right, it doesn't matter.
Look, we all have family problems.
Sure.
So what was the issue?
They all would try to tell me that I could reconcile and should with all the ugly bad stuff.
Right.
And come to the family reunions and be a Henley. And I'm like, I don't want to be a Henley. I'm technically a Henley, but I kind of like hanging with my mom's side of the family.
Right.
And they didn't like me either, so it sort of drifted down to.
Wait, so
why didn't they like you?
Oh, because I looked like my dad and they hated him. So my grandmother, this was no kidding. At Christmas, my 2 brothers would get something really nice, like a new sweater or like a $30-$40 gift. Yeah. And I got the first year I got a bag of oranges.
No, you did not. No, you did not get a Mexican Christmas.
Costco?
I got no. Just,
were they at least peeled?
Food Town. No. Food Town.
Seedless, hopefully.
Anderson, Alabama. No. This is way before the
right.
They gave you a bag of oranges, so it's a bag of rocks.
She gave me a bag of oranges, then the next year they all got something good, and I got a coloring book for like $2. And they all got something, and then every year it was just.
They liked his father better than your father.
And then my cousin Robin, for some reason or other, my old mean grandmother didn't like her either. So we often laughed down through the years about
how much y'all was out
there. Hey, Robert, could you go next door and get some nail polish for him? I want to give him a great Christmas gift.
Tim.
So I got the bag of oranges, and then my cousin Robin got those candy oranges that they dip in the sugar.
Sure,
those jelly.
Right.
She's like, you got the bag of oranges. I got the shitty candy bag.
But what pisses me off is obviously some shit went down in the Henley clan.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, I know the story.
Shit goes down in families.
It's whatever
Sure.
you want to share.
Right.
But my point here today is then they got mad at you because you didn't want to
wouldn't wanna
reconcile
get
with
back
the
in.
horrible stuff
Right.
that went on.
Right.
Plus,
Maybe
Vic was
something-
like, "Fuck y'all not accepting my father because you can see him in my face."
And then my
Fuck
mom, my mom, I yelled at them all and hung up on them, and they still called back. And so I had to go to my mom because my mom was standing right there and heard me yelling. I'm like, leave me alone. Don't call me again. I'm done. Ain't coming to this. Ain't going to that. All's fine.
Right.
And then so boom. And then my mom's sitting there and she's like, well, I'm really proud of you. She knew that's what I wanted to say.
Right.
But I was like nervous to say it.
Yeah.
And so
What happened?
Somebody over there just yapping.
Is she on the podcast?
She is now.
I think it's German. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Wie let die Hunde out?
Recording a show.
Boo, 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 boo. Opieradio. Boo, 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 boo. Boom, 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 boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.